Yes. Okay, Dr. Veena, I'd like to share the presentation from my side, or would you like to share it from your place?
Sir, you can share, sir. You can share.
Okay, just a minute. Just a minute.
Before sir shares the slide, very good evening to all the participants and very happy new year. And very happy to take a session on anger management today. Many of you might know what anger is, because in the recent days we are all equipped with saying Rautiram Palagu. In the recent days, it has been in the hashtags and also in the social media. A lot of people putting it as after Surare Potru, it's Raudram Palagu. So let's see how far this Raudram Palagu is good for our health. Okay. So when we look at anger, is it good or is it bad? And how far it is good and how far it is bad? What is this anger and what are the implications of anger on our physical as well as our mental health? This is what we are going to deal today. The next slide, sir. So anger is one of the basic 6 emotions Paul Ekman has described, the other being the sadness, happiness, fear, disgust, surprise, and anger. So anger is one of the 6 basic emotions. Anger is also known as wrath and rage depending upon the intensity. So it can vary from mild irritability to the high intensity of wrath or rage. And also anger is an intense emotional state involving something that is uncontrollable and non-cooperative response to some sort of provocation or some sort of threat, some sort of hurt. We all know that. We all know. Yes, we all know like the seat of emotions is the limbic system, like the amygdala is the one which controls or which regulates the emotion of anger and fear. And the prefrontal cortex is the one which is based with the judgment. So when you know how to how to improve the judgmental part of the prefrontal cortex over the emotional part of your amygdala, then you know how to control or how to manage your anger. So anger, the next one could be some sort of aggression as well. The next slide. So aggression is a feeling where your behavior says your emotional part of your anger. So how you're trying to channelize or how you're trying to acknowledge your emotion. So aggression is your behavioral part where you try to attack other people or sometimes you try to inflict or self-harm yourself. So this is the behavioral part. Okay, so every person will be having both positive and negative emotions, and it is okay to have both of them. Okay, as human being, it is okay. You need to know how to acknowledge them and how to channelize them. That is the important part. So the next slide, sir. So anger becomes a problem only when we don't know how to manage it, like I told you. And what is that? What is the physiology behind anger? Why we become angry? What is the concept behind that? What makes you angry? There might be a lot of triggers around you. Even small things also might make you angry. But why you are responding? Why your body is responding in that manner? What is happening within you that you are behaving in such a way? So the next slide will tell you like why so. So anger, according to the dictionaries, when you look, it is a strong feeling of displeasure or usually antagonism. So it is always pertain to the negativity. Okay, antagonism is something like you try to defend or you try to like take it to the negative aspect. And psychologist T.W. Smith agrees, saying it is an unpleasant emotion ranging in intensity from irritation or annoyance to fury or rage. Like I told you, there will be like very mild anger that is known as irritation. You will show with your facial expressions or displeasure. The middle will be annoyance. You will become a little bit anger. You either withdraw, you don't talk to people, or no, you become upset also. And the highest intensity will be the fury or rage, where you try to like vent it out, show it with trying to put it up like with quarrel or scolding or shouting or sometimes even barging also. So these are the three different stages of anger. Anger can also mean we cannot get something we want. Whenever we feel like I told you, anger is one emotion which is associated with other emotions of fear, sadness, guilt. So it is in combination with other emotions as well. So when we are angry, we cannot. We see something that is not fair. Okay, when you're forward and something doesn't happen in a good manner, you really don't have. I don't know how many of you are 90 kids. If you are 90 kids, you know about this movie known as Criminal, where Nagarjuna, he doesn't know, he couldn't withstand anything that is happening bad, or he couldn't withstand someone saying bad about India. Always they show that the vein will be bulge, and he becomes so furious. That's sort of. So when something that is not fair, you tend to show your emotion by through anger. And when you're upset about something, you're hurt, you're scared, you're tired, you don't feel good about yourself, when you feel too much of tired and stressed out, the first emotion you get is your anger, that irritability. Oh my God, why I'm not able to carry out things. You feel the guilt as well. You feel the fear as well. But the behavior would be more with the anger aspect. So you will vent it out through anger. You will sometimes know I'm fit for nothing. You will be that rage will be there with you. And what is the relation between stress and anger? Because in your body, the same hormones which create stress are attributed for your anger as well. So and the body releases the cortisol, which is the stress hormone, as well as. So I told you about the amygdala. So when amygdala, it sends the signals to your hypothalamus, and in turn the hypothalamus will trigger your adrenal glands, where the adrenaline is increased. Okay. And you have this fight or flight syndrome. You all know about the parasympathetic nervous system, where your adrenal increases and the body prepares either for fight or flight syndrome. Okay, the same concept happens when you are angry as well, and the increase of adrenaline is as much that it stays for a few minutes to a few hours. That's the reason your body becomes so alert, and you'll have increased heart rate, sometimes perspiration. The muscles will be so tensed. Because of the other neurotransmitters as well, like the acetylcholine, which is the acetylcholine will be having your muscle contractions. Okay, that's the reason you will be like very alert. Okay, when you're angry, even minute things also will be very irritating for you, because the whole body is like very active that period. Okay, the next slide, sir. So anger is a natural response for a perceived threat. Like I told you, the parasympathetic comes. It's a natural tendency for a human to respond in that. So definitely whenever there is some trigger or some threat, automatically the parasympathetic comes into action, and the adrenal glands and even testosterone hormones will be high. So that's the reason most of the men are related to being aggressive. And evolutionary wise, when you take also, men went out for hunting, and that aggressive behavior was there in men because of the testosterone. They will have that adrenal gush, they say, the testosterone hormones. That's the reason mostly men and anger will be like correlating with each other. Even women also do have the emotion of this anger, but mostly it's with men will be like showing it out. And also anger causes our body to release adrenaline, like I told you, and also our muscles tighten, our heart rate increases, and also there is sense of you feel so flushed out. You become when you're fury, when you're anger, what happens? Your cheeks are so flushed out. You become, when you're in rage, No, they will say that's the reason we always relate the color red with anger, isn't it? The color because whenever you want to show like fury or something that is when you are in anger, so because the face is so flushed because of all these chemical reactions that are taking place, and because of that the red color is related to anger. And also anger is a natural, though sometimes unwanted or irrational emotion. We do experience anger in our day-to-day activity life, isn't it? Even for slightest things also, it's okay for us to feel that anger. Okay, only when you don't know how to properly channelize that, then it has a huge impact on your physical as well as your mental health. The next slide. So anger experts describe the emotion as a primary natural emotion which has evolved as way of surviving and protecting ourselves from what is considered a wrongdoing. Okay, like I told you in the evolutionary psychology, in those days when man was hunting, there was always there was always a competitive spirit, or this territory belongs to me. So to show that power, or to show that this belongs to me, the only emotion they could emote was anger. Okay, that showed that the dominant character in them. Okay, and also they have adopted this anger uh, as one of the primitive survival instinct as well. Okay, you have certain basic instincts, and anger as much as has become a primitive instinct where the other, it showed the sense of belongingness, sense of territorial, that I am the authority and this belongs to me. Okay, and also sometimes it helps you to have like if someone does any wrong or anything, it give you they have taken this as an authority also to stand against wrongdoing. So it is one of the primitive instincts that they have developed to combat any sort of threat. Okay, so mild anger may be brought on by feeling tired, stressed, irritated, like I told you. When we feel irritated, when our basic needs are not fulfilled, we feel so agitated. You don't eat for one day, part of the day. It's okay. Sometimes you do the fasting and everything. So you go without food for 1 day, 2 day, or 3 days. What happens to your body? There will be a lot of changes that will be happening. So food is okay, but if you forego the sleep for 1 day, how would you feel the next day? You will be feeling so irritated, so agitated. Even slightest things you will not be able to cope up with. So when your human basic needs, the basic needs are not fulfilled, that will be showing. And anger is one emotion which overrides all other emotions. Okay, so you feel agitated, irritated more than you feel sad, or you feel fearful, or you feel disgusted, or so anger is one powerful emotion which will override all other emotions. That's the reason anger is very, very destructive, isn't it? It is destructive for self as well as to others. Sir, the next slide. So we may become angry when reacting to frustration, criticism, or threat, like I told you. It could, and also whenever certain reactions are inappropriate or bad. The other slide, sir. So why this anger? It is a reactive. Reactive. You react sometimes over impulse. Okay, sometimes when the other people's beliefs or opinions don't go along with yourself, don't gel with yourself. So it is like some sort of disagreement whenever there is any proper whenever there is any miscommunication, whenever you feel like there is some unreasonable thing or some irrational thing that is happening, the first and foremost emotion that you emote is your anger, your displeasure. Okay, first you feel why I have to put up with this fellow, why I have to agree with this fellow, I shouldn't. Sometimes what happens is when you're forced to do some things, when you are forced to, without your liking, when you are forced to do certain things, you feel that anger, and you feel that irritability. Why so? Why me? Why I have to put up? So these things also, like when you don't know how to, that's the reason I told you anger is one of the defensive mechanisms where you want to, like, really put up with certain threats in your life. The next slide, sir. Being unreasonable or irrational can lead others around us to feel threatened, resentful, angry. Again, because when you don't have the proper communication, okay, whenever there is any barrier in communication, you could see even in your in our families also, whenever there is no proper communication, whenever, for instance, if you take wife and husband, okay, the wife sometimes will expect the husband to understand certain things without even communicating also. After so many years of marriage, can't you understand what I feel? Can't you understand how I think? Can't you understand what I need? Poor husband doesn't know. If you don't communicate, he doesn't know. That's the reason they'll be having the small petty fights, between wife and husband. And certain times, even the other family members also, with the miscommunication, what happens? They will be like misjudging the other people. So that will have a toll on your interpersonal relationship as well. Okay. So communication, that too effective communication, is very much important. And anger can also be a secondary emotion. Like I told you, your sadness, your fear, or your depression, sort of feeling lonely, low, all these things, because the amygdala is also your seat of fear and also the other emotions. So it could be coexisting with other fears as well. But the thing that you emote, the first one will be your anger. Okay. The next slide, sir. It is useful to try to understand why we are feeling angry at given time, so that the root cause can be addressed and problems solved. Okay. Always looking like all the questions, Socratic questions, have to come into your mind. Why you are feeling angry? What made you angry? And is it okay for you to be angry? So what is it that you are going to gain from this? Okay. Is it like, no, how far this anger is like reasonable for you? So start. That's the reason whenever a person is angry, they say don't take any decisions, don't act on impulse whenever you're in anger. Buy some time. Okay, count from 1 to 10, 1 to 100, whatever it is. So you need to really sit and understand whether your emotion, is it okay for you to emote right now? Okay, start, take that time out, sit and start to think. That's one of the ways where you could channelize your emotions. Okay, don't act on impulsivity unless it is required. Okay, sometimes you need to run away from that place. At that time, don't feel like I have to, like, sit back and think and act. Whenever there is any danger or threat for you, you need to run away from that place. You can't, like, sit there and act. Okay, but for anger, it is not just a state of mind. Anger can trigger physical changes also. Like I told you, you will have your increased heart rate, increased blood pressure, because of the adrenaline, due to the impact of parasympathetic nervous system. And also the long term, when a person is subjected to anger without properly managing it, so there will be deterioration in his physical as well as mental health. Okay, when you are subjected to long terms of increased heart rate and blood pressure, what happens? When you have increased blood pressure, that will have effect on the other parts of your body. Okay, so that's the reason you need to know how to properly manage your anger. The next slide, sir. So how anger is expressed? Anger can be expressed in many ways. Like I told you, like it could be set out with your signs and signals of your body behavior. The other things could be verbal or non-verbal cues. Okay, sometimes when you're angry, you tend to put up verbal fights. You tend to vent it out through words. Okay, irritability. You tend to vent it out with various physical attributions also. And also it can be clear that somebody is angry. You know when a person is angry, isn't it? What happens is eyebrows are like closure, distracted, and you know, like his facial expressions will show when a person is in rage or when he is angry, isn't it? He will be very agitated, moving that way, this way. The best example would be our own Shivaji Ganeshan. Okay, you could see his facial expressions, how it changes whenever he is fury or whenever he is anger. Okay, all these things, his eyes will bulge, and no, the uh, even the what to say, eyes will become red, fury, and no, that is really sure. The muscles will be tense, the facial muscles will be tense, their fist will be clenched to hit something. So the muscle contractions happens because of acetylcholine, like I told you. And also anger can be expressed through body languages and non-verbal cues, like trying to look physically bigger. Like I told you, just imagine Shivaji Ganeshan in the old movies, whenever he is angry, all those. So you will really get into that. And also some people are very good at internalizing their anger. Sometimes people will become very calm and composed, but still that anger will be there, raging inside. Okay, that will be boiling inside, but they will try to be very calm and peaceful on the outer surface. Like when you look at the ocean, how it is very peaceful on the upper surface, but inside you will know the volcanoes will be rupturing, no, the volcanoes will be erupting. So even anger also will be like, the person will be very calm, serene, but inside, no, that volcano will be erupting inside him. The anger will be so much raging, bulging, boiling, not bulging, boiling inside him. Okay. It is, however, unusual for an actual physical attack. Okay, everyone who is angry will not get into physical attacks, isn't it? Okay, they tend to express it through various ways and means. So the next slide, sir. What makes people angry? Okay, so a way to help protect territory, like I told you, or family members, someone is doing something wrong or threatening to your closed ones. You'll not just, you'll not, even animals also. Okay, you must be knowing the mother dog. No, when it has its puppies, you just go near it and see. It will snarl at you. It shows its teeth, isn't it? It shows the anger. It doesn't show anything else. Okay, it doesn't show the what to say, faithfulness or something. Okay, I know this. Any person who comes near to the puppy, the first thing it shows is its anger. So that is one way of expressing or showing, no, this belongs to me. Okay, you don't have any right, or you don't, who are you here? So anger is one way where the person tries to protect his loved ones, okay, or secure his loved ones, make them feel secure about it. The only way that a human being adapts is his anger. Okay. Okay. And also protect against loss or food or other possessions, like I told you, as a response to other perceived threats as well. So this is one of, like I told you, anger is one defensive mechanism. You take it to show that this belongs to me. Okay. So that anger need not always be on impulse, or it could be like wrath or bloodbath. Okay, the anger will be in a different way. When you look, you see, for instance, you all can relate to the Bahubali. No, the Ballala Deva is very furious about his mother, that she didn't make him the king. He's boiling with that rage and vengeance, but the way he showed, no, everything, it's not like, no, he took it in his own way of venting out the anger. Okay, it's not always like right royal battle. Okay, so you'll be having, so anger is one thing where you try to say or give a message that you are upset, you're, no, something has upset you and you didn't get what you wanted, or you wanted to say that something belonged to me but I'm not able to achieve it. something when you become possessive about others and you are not able to meet those needs or wants, when you feel that you are a failure, all these things. So all these things are triggering factor for you to become angry. The next slide, sir. So these are the common triggers of anger. They are a lot, your basic needs, your grief. When you lose your loved ones, you don't know how to vent it out. Okay, like I told you, uh, you will feel irritable, you will feel tired. One of the ways of showing your anger is like either verbal or non-verbal, or the symptoms of stress, the other symptoms of stress. So you either be indulging more in eating, indulging more in sleeping, indulging more in physical activities. People will be roaming just whenever they are angry. No, what they will do is the kuti pota poon, that's what they say in Tamil. I don't know. They keep on like walking. They become so restless and agitated, and the feeling will be like a feeling of failure, disappointment. I'm not able to do something. Agitated. Okay, so these things will be happening with your physical thing. Whenever you become angry. Uh, these are the physical things that will be happening because the body is on high alert mode. Okay, so either fight or flight. So when you want to fight it out, you try to like indulge in sort a lot of physical activities. People tend to hit something. People tend to break something. Whenever you are furious or angry, this is what sometimes it might happen in such an extent that they get involved with the substance abuse or indulge in sexual activities, hypersexual activities. No, these also will be one of the ways of showing your anger. So it's not like always you will be behaving in a good manner. The other ways will be like trying to abuse people, trying to physically abuse people, emotionally abuse people, sexually abuse people, all these things. So when you're in anger situation, you really don't know what you're thinking. That's the reason I told you your prefrontal cortex, the judgment area has to be superior in that. No, your judgment has to precede your emotional aspect. Then you will know how to control your anger. Okay. So being either physical or mentally unwell, being in pain or living with a serious illness can lead to feeling angry. Sometimes you really don't know. Sometimes when you are having serious illness, sometimes you really don't know. You just don't want to put up the fight. Okay. You become so furious. Ennada vazhkai, I'm done with this. I don't want anything. You become so agitated with other family members. No, whenever they come near you, also you'll not be responding with them in a proper cordial manner. You'll be always feeling irritated, agitated, just leave me alone. I don't want to move. Sort of when you are subjected to such sort of serious illnesses and so. Okay. The next slide, sir. So recognizing anger, like I told you, remember our Shivaji Ganeshan, all those things like I told you, clenching the jaw, grinding the teeth, shallow breathing, increased heart rate, trembling, shaking, everything, the pacing, being rude, talking louder, and also the indulging in substance abuses. So these are how you recognize the person is angry. Okay, the next slide, sir. So possible emotional symptoms of anger: a desire to run away from the situation, irritation, feeling sad, depressed, or feeling guilty or resentful or anxious, and also getting into verbal or physical indulgence. The next slide, sir. Impact of anger: when we are angry, you know like what happens. If you are a homemaker, the first thing you either chop your vegetables or break your utensils. Okay. That's how you know how to combat with your anger. You will either put up with verbal duel with your husband or with other family members, but you are not able to do that verbally. You will show it in physical thing like breaking something or doing something to just vent out your anger. And also as a result of release of hormones, the stress hormones, your heart rate, your blood pressure, everything increases, and no, sometimes you are subjected to some sort of threat. So whenever you are in anger, your judgment part comes down. So you will on impulsively take certain decisions, okay, which you will repent later. Okay, when you are anger, you will break something. After everything subsides, you will be feeling very much for that. Okay, so like I told you, the bodily reactions will be there staying for a few minutes to a few hours. Okay, so don't act on impulse. Never act on impulse. Okay, so always allow your body to calm down, then take up decisions. Okay, and also our body are not designed to withstand high levels of adrenaline, cortisol. What happens when you are on a peak, no, that adrenal gush, whenever you do a bungee jumping, whenever you go on a long drives, what happens? You feel that sense of elated state of mind. You really don't know what you're thinking is rational or irrational on your part. You might commit a lot of mistakes also. No, that impulsivity, that rage behavior will be more with adolescent. They are that's the period of human life which is known as stress and storming. That period they really don't know. They will have only that impulsivity. They really don't know how to think rationally. That's the reason most of the adolescents are prone for accidents, more prone for dangerous behavior, more prone to get addicted for substances because of this reason. So they don't know how to channelize their emotions because of all these bodily reactions or chemicals that are secreted inside their body. Okay, and the impact of anger, when we are angry, our body, all these I have told you. Like the next slide, sir. So what is the impact of anger on our health? Like I told you, it increases your body pains. You'll be feeling so tensed up. You'll be having sleep problems. Your circadian rhythm will be disturbed. Circadian rhythm is one which will keep a check on your biological clock, the way you sleep, the time you eat, everything, all the physical things that are happening, the physiology of the entire body. Okay, your temperature check, everything, all the circadian rhythm will be like altered. Okay, and also you'll be having a lot of eating disorders. You keep on binge eating, bulimia. Sometimes you don't eat at all. Sometimes you'll be having problems with your digestion due to overindulgence of eating. Sometimes you'll be having skin disorders, reduced threshold for pain. That's the reason they tend to harm. They tend to hit. If you could see the way you vent your anger is either by destructing something or destructing yourself as well. And also it has impaired immune system also because of constant release of cortisol in your hormone. Your immune system will be having a little bit, a huge impact because of this anger. The next slide, sir. So mental health, because anger might lead to substance abuse. So the other coexistent emotions will be sadness, guilt, fear, all these things. So constant fear will be leading, and sadness will be leading to depression, reduced self-confidence, all eating disorders, alcoholism, substance abuse, self-injury, which we have talked about. So the next slide, sir. The next slide. So signs of anger, causes of anger, like I told you, any triggers when the understanding of other people doesn't go well with others, the opinions differentiate, and also sometimes what happens when we are angry? The signs of anger will be, like I told you, showing it through our behavior. We may yell or say hurtful things. We start fighting with other people, unnecessary arguments, and also words. We all should know, like even the physical abuse can, sometimes the physical, when you get physical with other people, even those wounds will heal. But வார்த்தையாக சொன்ன வலி that will not heal soon when you damage the person with your words. that healing will never happen so soon. So you need to be very careful about what you are saying, how verbal you're getting with the other person. Okay. And we have problems with the law as well. Like I told you, unruly behavior or aggressive behavior will lead to antisocial behaviors as well. The next slide, sir. Causes of anger, I told you a lot about this. Okay, harassment, bullying, injustice, demands of criticism or threat to people. So you have to show your territory. So you have to secure your people. This is a defensive mechanism sort of. So when someone is constantly bullying you, you will put up for some period of time. As a small example is a dog. You start like throwing stones or something, showing that over a period of time, the start will start fighting back. It will snarl at you, it will bark at you, it will show like I am ferocious, sort of. So this is one of like a defensive mechanism. The next slide. Types of anger. I'll take or you take, sir? I'll take. So there are three types of anger, like hasty and sudden anger, settled or deliberate anger, dispositional anger. What happens is anger sometimes is like expressed, sometimes it's not expressed, it's inwardly kept calm, not expressed. Okay. Hasty and sudden anger, it is connected to the impulse for self-preservation. Okay. It is shared by human and other animals. Like I told you, when someone is trying to come in your territory, for that security reasons, you tend to express your anger. Okay. This form of anger is episodic. Only when some triggering point is there, you tend to become angry. The next one, sir. Settled or deliberate anger. It is a reaction to perceived deliberate harm or unfair treatment by others. Okay. This form of anger is also episodic. So when someone says something about you, you don't get along with other people, all these things. And dispositional anger is like whenever you have certain things inside yourself, irritability, sullenness, or some sort of thing, you tend to like express it outwardly. Okay, so it is like because of some other behavior or some other emotion that is affecting you, you take this anger as a disposition for that emotion.
Thank you, Dr. Vin. Actually, it is a wonderful presentation about understanding the concept anger. Dear participant, as you all know that today's presentation by Dr. Srinivasan sir, he is a senior consultant of psychiatrist, and due to personal reason, he is not able to come forward and present his topic today. And we made to give some inputs regarding that what is anger, what is the different components of anger, what are the signs we can find out, and what are the factors that influence an anger. And I hope even I too got a very clarity about these components. And we all know that there are three types of anger. This is one thing. And I will make, as I said, the time is exceeding more than 40 minutes. So I stop here. We will continue the same presentation. I'm going to take over the second part of today's session regarding. And once Srinivasan sir comes, and we will have the management of stress. Before that, I had also prepared some of the content related to that management of anger. And I can say that I classified anger management in my family. Okay, what are the members, what they have done, and what are the strategies which were worked out and which were not worked out. That is something I'm going to say that from family members. And second one is about anger management through that scientific component. For example, therapy, there are many techniques out there. We'll discuss all those things in that coming day. Probably tomorrow evening, we'll have that second part of today's presentation. We don't want to take much of your time. As we promised earlier, we would like to have that first part of presentation, understanding about anger today. And tomorrow, we'll have that. Again, there is one more classification is there. Anger can be classified into aggressive anger, passive anger, assertive anger. And we will know that what is these three classifications and whether you comes under which category. Tomorrow you come to know that whether you belong to that assertive anger or aggressive anger or passive anger. And most of them are, I can say that, most of them are say that they believe that they comes under positive category. We will know that which category you belongs to. And we will, as I said, we will discuss what we can see that in our neighbors, in our family and relatives, what are the strategies they are adapting to take care of anger. And we know that I can give one example. With that, I can wind up today. And if you have any questions, please put it your questions in the chat box. As you all aware about it, when I see my father is anger towards me, okay, when anger, I will get a signal from my mom. Okay, the anger management strategy, I'm going to say. See, so only non-verbal cues, like Shivaji Ganesan is something, a small actor in front of my mother. And when I see that non-verbal cues, I will run away from that place. I won't be there. After 1 hour, I will come back. And I will receive some communication from my friend say that, okay, mom is calling, go there. Because the 1 hour is a cooling period. And my dad will be very calm, cool down, and then he say that, okay. And then I will come back, and then I will say that, I'm sorry what I have done, the mistake. So this is the way, the best way. I hope this one is very useful. And another time when I'm anger towards my elder brothers or younger brothers, and when I try to keep them, and my mom called me and asked me to drink a water. Okay, I know that he done a mistake. You come here, drink a water. And when I drink that, I'll forget why I come there. So these kind of situations that happen, I will add few more strategies also which were happened in my home. And we will discuss tomorrow. And definitely we will have that session by Dr. Professor, my well-wisher. I can say that a lot of quality I found in psychiatrist Sir Srinivasan sir. We will have a dedicated session from scientific perspective also. With that note, I can stop here. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And I will ask the presenter, the first half of presentation today, Dr. Veena, to give the answer for your questions. Your answer, else can put your questions in the chat box. I'll make them. I will pass it to that. Yeah, eagerly waiting. Thank you. Even me too. Not that me too. In 2021 me too. 2020 me too is totally different. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. And tomorrow, same time only, we are having that webinar session. Dear participants, many of you are very new to our session. I can say every day we are conducting 6:30 to 7:30. It is for us only. 6:30 to 7:30 for our learning, to groom ourselves, to know, manage our mental health better, to live our life better. So that's why we are here. And yes, we will have tomorrow session and the second part, different types, and we will come up with a strategy we can adapt it. I hope there is one question I can say. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. There are many positive feedback I am listening here. And yes, many of them, again, there are a lot of positive comments on it. And Dr. Veena, as you said that, there are certain emotions, it is a basic emotion, as you said, one of the basic emotions. Why we are having this anger in our day? If it is no anger, what kind of change it will make in our daily life?
So, like I told you, anger is one of the basic emotions which everyone needs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told you, it is it is like one of the defensive mechanisms as well. We all know like certain spices are not good for health, but still we do use when they are used in a proper way that will enhance your food, that will enhance the taste also. You should know how to put it in a proper proportion, so your life will be that tasteful. Okay, so anger is not, no, it's not like you should be devoid of anger. You should know how to channelize properly, acknowledge your anger. Without anger, no. So because your body is structured in that way to combat any sort of threat, you either run away from that place or you put up there and fight for it. So to fight for that, you should have that anger part. So it is one of the basic emotions a human body has. So I don't know, without anger, okay, it will be much, okay, good, but still anger is something, sometimes having the petty fights will really make your life more enjoyable. So anger in a good way is very much needed, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Veena. There is one more question from the participant there. whether the food item we are taking in our daily life, which has a direct correlation with anger, there or not.
Sir, when we look at in our Indian way of philosophy and all those things, we had this the Satvika food will help to have control on your emotions, and the Kshatriya foods, no, that will make you like. There are certain things culturally inclined or culturally that are there are certain facts definitely. Uh, there are food items that will trigger your emotions. Definitely, that's there. But that all depends on
Yeah,
how
I remember Doctor once in a movie, Jackie Chan movie, when and that enemies were trying to attack him, he used to take more chilies because that will make him angry. So that's the one correlation we can see. There is one more appreciation from Dr. Kumaravel sir. He is a professor of life skills and now he is in the Department of Social Work and he is here and he is going to, our coming days, he is going to have one more presentation. And he asked me that what is the basic difference between anger and short tempered?
huh. So,
Short tempered?
short tempered is you don't like take that much time and it's you behave it on impulsivity. Okay, short tempered is like you react without even taking the information inside you. Anger is something more beyond your impulsivity and short temperedness. No, there will be a rational reason behind your anger sometimes. But not but sometimes it could be because of no rightful reason you're angry about something. Short tempered is you just behave like that. Okay, without even getting the information to your mind or reasoning it or responding. So short tempered, that's the reason I told you adolescents always behave on impulsivity. Okay, without even rationalizing or reasoning with your behavior, you tend to act. So that is your short temperedness.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Vin. And actually, we had an amazing presentation today and a very good question and answer session today. As we promised, we would like to have a 45-minute session every day from this New Year onwards. And I hope we are in the right time. I take this opportunity to record my sincere thanks to today's presenter. The first half of presentation by Dr. Veena and second half will be done by me. And final third, I will have that Srinivasan sir presentation. And I thank Dr. Veena for a wonderful presentation and all the participants. I would like to inform you that we are conducting this webinar session to promote awareness among the people. Anyone can join. 1,000 members can join our program. You can inform your friends who are interested. You can ask them to join our program and get the inputs and they can enjoy the benefit out of that information they are receiving. Okay, that is the only thing. You can become as a messenger. When you're involved in it, you are in the process of making to everyone to have that awareness about that mental health and well-being and wellness component. And I request you from on behalf of the 40 member, you can pass the message to your friends. We are using the same link for all the days. We are using same link for all the days, 365 days for the same link only. You can come up with the different topics will be there and you can learn from it. And if you come to know that some of the resource persons are very good in that, they want to contribute in this webinar forum, ask them to contact me or send the details. We would like to utilize their resources for our webinar session. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Veena, for amazing session today. And I'm really happy that the way, the flow in which you made today's presentation awesome. I can say that. Thank you, Dr. Veena. I thank all the participants and the core team members and on behalf of the Department of Psychology and Madras School of Social Work, Chennai, ML Chellamathy Institute, Madurai, Red Pond Education Psychology Research Center, Yellow Pond Counseling Center. I thank each one of you for today's session and we will meet tomorrow, the second part of today's session. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Namaste. Vanakkam. Yes.